Friends, how are you doing? Let's talk about the stock market today. It is it's the 16th. Yeah, 16th. Wednesday. Today came as pretty much we figured. Yesterday, great day in the market. Things ran up. Palantir itself almost hit $100. It was trying to, just came shy of it. And then today, we had news come out here, especially the big news that surfaced here about chips in general, but Nvidia coming out here and saying, what they said about the chips, the future of it, what could happen here, the tariffs, what is happening, and it scared off a lot of investors. So, here's the thing. I think really two plays that you should probably focus on right now as an investor in this market, and one, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I think 100% the main thing to keep in your mind right now is that this market is not going to get away from you, okay? And yesterday was a perfect example of that. If people were buying Palantir at like almost $100, it was like, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that at the moment, because I knew that it wasn't going to support that. Now, Palantir falling down to $92 right now. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, because why do I say that? And obviously we're going right into Palantir here, and I'll talk more about something else here in a minute. But Palantir, this is the example of the market, how you can play this market. So yesterday, all week, Monday, Tuesday, the market's going good here. Palantir is especially going good here because the NATO deal news, all that's, just it's going crazy here. We've got quarterlies coming out here very soon with Palantir. They could be the biggest quarterlies we've ever seen. They could be flushing over $1 billion. Yeah. Everyone's happy. This is what we've been waiting for. Palantir's going crazy yesterday. So with Palantir almost at $100, what do we know is coming? We know that we can't trust this market, and yesterday is a great day for if you're trying to build position right now. And me as an investor, I'm all about long-term investing, but at this particular moment in the market, with such the market deceiving people and not being sturdy, walking on glass floor at this point, this is a great opportunity to play the market. It's going to play you. This market is ruthless right now, so play it as much as it's playing you. Yesterday was a great day to take profit, step back, come back in today, because we figured today is going to be a red day. It surely was, and today was a great day. Hey, I'm going to buy back in. So I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm trying to say this to get this in people, your head, where you go, okay, the market's not going to get away from me. This market is not going to be just taking off. Okay, this market is allowing investors to do something very, very interesting, to build positions over a 24 to 48 hour position at time frame, to where they can buy, sell, sell the green, buy the red, sell the green, buy the red, because we're seeing such huge movements right now in a lot of stocks today, even with Nvidia taking a hit. I still think Nvidia might take more of a hit. I think under $100 probably is coming here, especially with further down we get in the road here with closer to more tariff news coming up here later in the summer. This could be a really interesting moment that's about to happen with Palantir. Okay, so let's look at it this way. We know we know people love Palantir. They are wanting to buy it. They're willing to buy it. People feel a-okay buying Palantir at $100. Why shouldn't you? You're going to get your money back. And if you bought Palantir yesterday at almost $100, and you're like, oh man, why'd I do that? I don't panic sell. For God's sakes, don't freak out. You're going to get your money back, and probably some very soon, okay? Here's what we know. Like I said, quarterlies are coming up here in a very short time with Palantir. Palantir could easily just, not really care about what the market's doing. Right now, the market it's in somewhat of a fairy tale story, where the market's going, what, that tariff stuff, it's not coming up for another 3 months, so we're just going to do this over here. People are going to buy in. People are just going to act like nothing's going on. There's no things going on over in the West. There's no thing, there's no trade issues with China. None of that's important right now. We're just going to focus on what we know is coming up with quarterlies, with goodness, with companies that should be reporting huge quarterlies, groundbreaking quarterlies. And this is where Palantir is a great representation of that right now, where Palantir is going to bring these big moments of, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, to where you're able to compound positions right now. Take the profit, throw it right back in, repeat the process. The market's allowing you to do that almost twice a week with some pretty big ground, for God's sakes. If you bought last Friday and you sold Monday, that was still huge movement. Monday, Palantir was at $95 and some change. Then we had a little bit of sell-off back to 91, and then, more of that NATO news came out yesterday, and we almost hit $100. So, even playing the 48-hour zone here, even if you, bought Friday, still just massive gains right there. And Palantir is not done by any, stretch of the imagination here. So why I'm saying Palantir is in maybe such a particular good moment right now for investors is because, last year it was all about chip stocks. Nvidia, AMD, the chip making companies, they were just, people were willing to pay whatever. Literally before Nvidia had the split last year, people were paying, $1,000 a share. It was like a piñata and kids at the bottom just like going crazy. That was Nvidia last year. And now, Nvidia's still making a lot of money. Don't get it wrong. Don't think that I'm not saying that. Nvidia they got all the money. They're still making money. Nvidia still got all the money. They're still making all the money, 100%. But with that, Nvidia long term, it's going to be just fine. And Dan Ives gave a great interview. You should watch it. That's why I put him on the thumbnail. I love Dan Ives. He makes a roundabout, argument about what's going on in the overall market, not a narrow look, but a broad look. And the long term of what we can expect right now is going to be the market will be fine. That's what we know about the market. The market will always come out the winner alive. It's who's going to make it out of the market. Who's going to have the patience, who's going to play it right, and who's going to put their money where. So with that, Nvidia could be in a little bit of a short season of trouble. Long term, of course, they're going to be fine. Short term here, we could see some, aggressive selling here. This could continue into where, investors are looking to spend money. Investors are looking for new positions, cheaper positions. And, Palantir is almost as much as Nvidia at this point when it comes to share price, obviously. Market cap, totally different. But Palantir could be in this position right now where it's like the beauty queen coming up to where the main beauty queen, Nvidia, AMD, all these chip stocks, these two chip stocks especially, are, people don't care about them right now as much. They're like, the tariff thing, I don't feel comfortable buying Nvidia for $100 a share right now and some change. I just don't feel comfortable. AMD, same argument. So there could be this very special thing coming up here with Palantir in the next 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks. We could see May do really well for us here, where Palantir just starts running. It just starts, maybe these quarterlies are just banging. Maybe we get some news about new contracts, more about the NATO contract. There is a very real conversation that, it may not do well to go against Palantir right now. It may not serve you well. And, I've been watching people bet against Palantir for the past 2.5 years. It has not served them well. I remember when I was talking about Palantir just some time ago saying Palantir is going to $20. Palantir is going to $30. Palantir is going to $40. And people were ripping me apart online. They were ripping me apart on here. And that's okay. That's okay. I got a big mouth. I'm on YouTube. I get it. But, the thing is that we saw what was happening with Palantir, and we're still watching it. It's even more aggressive right now with what's going on with Palantir. So what the main argument I want to say right now, obviously, is, don't feel like the market's going to get away from you. Now, I do expect in 2 weeks that the market will get more aggressive. Palantir will get more aggressive here. And probably a lot of us are about to make a lot of money because we're going to play this. We're going to play this how it's going to come out. There's going to be big moments of high, and there's going to be low moments of sell off. The market, and this is, listen to what I'm trying to say right now. I don't want this to sound mean, but look at this tariff thing that's going on that is just ripping the market apart. Look at it in a positive aspect right now to where you as an investor are able to come in right now with pockets of money, whatever you have, whether it's $5, $500, $10, $20, $50, whatever, $1,000. And you're able to buy, sell, because this could be a market where it's just like it's a boring market. Maybe the market's just like we're not getting much. There's just no meat. There's nothing to pick apart here. Palantir could be sitting just at maybe $91, and in the whole week it goes from 91 to 93, sells down to like a $8 position. See what I'm saying? There's not much volume. There's not much wiggle room. There's not much room to really like these big pushes, these big sells, and these big sell-offs. The market is allowing you right now to make huge profits within like a 2 to 3 day period right now. So really, it's really important to compound on top of that and build long-term positions. I'm not telling you to make profit right now in like Palantir especially and take it and blow it. I'm saying compound this, add position. So maybe in about 2 weeks now, when Palantir does release a good quarterly and the stock does go over $100 and maybe hits a whole new stock price we haven't seen before, it could happen. You're really going to be in some major profit zone. Now, with that too, I do think, and I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy here, but I do suspect that once the market, this fairy tale story ends in the market here, probably around the end of June, July, beginning of it, when this tariff stuff comes back up. If it doesn't come back up sooner, who knows? The China tariff situation with us could come up any day. I mean, that's just lingering over the market, for God's sakes. I think people are about to make a lot of money. I think people, they're playing this market. We understand how this market works. And this isn't something that you're going to hear about on, on these stock channels, Fox News or anything. I'm sure there's other YouTubers talking. I'm sure people that are in the market every day, they see what's going on. Okay. So friends, I'm encouraging you, play this market. The market's going to play you. Be ruthless with this market because it is ruthless right now with people, okay? There's people yesterday that bought Palantir at almost $100, and today they're going, oh my God, what is this? It's okay. It's okay. Don't freak out. For God's sakes, don't panic. Don't panic sell something that could possibly well go over $100 here soon, okay? Now, obviously, we want the market to stay together. We want the market to keep moving along here, and we're getting that. The S&P is showing life. We're doing okay. We had a little bit of negative news today with the chip stuff, all that kind of stuff, but we're going to keep watching and seeing what happens. The market wants to survive. The market wants to run here. It's like I said, it's a glass floor. So with a glass floor, it's going to bring uncertainty. It's going to bring moments of big success in the market. It's going to bring moments of very just, oh my God, what are we doing here? What am I doing? I've just made a huge mistake. Don't get lost in emotion right now with this market. And, just mentioning SoFi, SoFi is another great example of that, where SoFi is just, it is allowing investors to look at this 5-day chart. Look at these pockets right now with SoFi. I mean, this is such a mean market right now where you're just like these high dips, these high pull-ups. I mean, like I said, if we have to tattoo it on our forehead right now, the market is not going to get away from you. So don't have fear if you're buying in, something, maybe when you thought it was sold off, all it's going to sell off. There's going to be these pockets where it's just going to be moments where you hit it just right from a Monday through a Friday, but the market is not going to get away from you, okay? And SoFi too is a great example of that. SoFi is doing good here. It's holding this $10 range here, and SoFi's got quarterlies coming up here too. The two biggest quarterlies that I think a lot of people are looking forward to right now are SoFi and Palantir, because they could, I think Palantir is more of a guarantee, but SoFi too should hit this $1 billion quarterly, at least come very close. So this This is why I think the market could rally here. It could rally here at the end of the month if we start seeing some of these companies come out with these huge quarterlies. So, friends, listen, I won't keep your time anymore. I really do appreciate everyone listening to me yap my gums here. I'm excited. You should be excited. Don't let this market control you with fear, okay? Whether you got $5, $10, you are part of it. Listen, I came into the market when the market was crashing, 10 years ago. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just started and I made a lot of mistakes. I finally realized I had to put my money, whether it was $5, $10, $50, as it kept building, finding a way to make profit. I mean, even if you have $10, you buy one share of SoFi and you make, maybe a 50-cent profit on it. That's 50 cents you just took from the market. Okay. It's a good feeling. Okay. It will keep growing. It goes from 50 cent to $1.50 to $2.50. Maybe you make a $10 profit. It will be soon enough where you make $100 profit. And if you keep throwing it back in there, you're going to be looking at some of these positions you have. You're going to go, holy smokes, whoa, I've got a huge position here. And then there's going to come moments where a stock just runs on it. You did your homework. You did everything right. You followed the breadcrumbs. And, maybe you've been buying SoFi. Maybe you've been buying Palantir. And in probably about 2 weeks from now, you're going to be rewarded. You're going to be rewarded. Unless a catastrophe happens here in the market, which is possible. A lot of us should see some heavy gains here, even at these prices that people are buying at right now. Listen, Palantir is wanting to run. Palantir is pushing the gas, 100%. 100%. SoFi is doing very well, and SoFi will probably do very well here in about 2 weeks. Friends, I wish you all the best of luck. I want to see everyone make money in this market and succeed. Take care of yourself. Bye, everyone.